folks, my name is Elizabeth. This channel is The Madness at Bay because I don't know if what I do encourages madness or keeps it at bay. Either way, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing because I really don't know what else to do. Alright, that was the introduction. All of my other videos like this, I thought, I should do an introduction, and then I'm like, that's stupid. Everybody else does an introduction and they're not stupid, but if I were to do an introduction, it would be stupid. You know what I mean? So usually I make painting videos, and occasionally I will do a video like this because YouTube loves people talking to the camera more than camera pointed at painting. So I'm not really here for the views and the likes and the comments, obviously, but it does feel good when they happen. So yeah. Okay, so it's been several months since my last video like this, so I do have quite a bit of cross stitch to show you. I have a couple paintings. I never know. I never know when I left off and what I've done before the last video and what I've done. I never know. I mean, I keep a journal, so I will know, and I write everything down, but I still don't write down what I need to know. If you're curious, this is my journal. I don't really care about what the covers of my journals look like because I never look at them. You know, I pull it out of the drawer and I open it up. That's it. So I got this huge, it's a, how big is it anyway? It's like 7.5 by 10. It's supposed to be like an 8 by 10, but it's not. And you know, it's really nice white paper dot grid, and I got these at Walmart. They're $10. They're wonderful. Anyway, so I've got my Flosstube notes in here, and I do keep quite a journal. Quite a journal. Running. I hope you can't read that. Task list and some actual journaling, and you know. Oh, here is my. Oh, I don't want to show you this month because it's all scribbles. Because I mess up. I don't mind messing up in my journal. It's my journal. Nobody else is going to read it unless I purposely show them. And if I purposely show them, then probably they're my friend. So it's okay. So here's like my whip line. Okay, yellow means I finished it. This was last month. Okay. Alright, this one's okay. I only scribbled out once. This is my cross-stitch page, my cross-stitch log. Okay, so I've got a column for the date, one for the project, one for the start count of stitches, because Pattern Keeper will tell you like the total stitches that you've done, but it's not quite accurate because if you frog, it's still in beta. Okay, so it's alright that it's not perfect, but so if you have to frog and undo a stitch, it counts the stitch twice. So you got to look at your total stitches, not just your stitch count for the day. Anyway, so that's why I started keeping this, because everybody seems to care about how many stitches they've done, and I never did until recently, and I was just more curious rather than like, I gotta get this many stitches done a day. So that's what, so I've got start and end count for stitches, the total number of stitches I did, and the percent complete, because Pattern Keeper also tells you that, and a column for notes, which is very nice. Very, very nice. Okay. That's all I need to show you about my bullet journal. I did just start recently keeping a journal for my books, because I read a lot, and I didn't know how much I read until I was like, you know, Amazon keeps track of your books, and so I went and I saw that December was like, I wanted to start at December for reasons. So since this December 13th, I'm not sure, maybe it was actually December 1st, until today, March 10th, I've read 49 books. 49. Most people don't read that in the year. I'm not even done with March. I read a lot. Okay, admittedly, they're not 300-page books. They're like 200 and under, okay? They're like 250 and under. Like, one of them was like 293, okay? Okay. 4 of these books were bundles, and they were like 500 to 800 page books. That is still not huge, okay? A huge book to me is like a 1,000-page book. If I had read 49,000-page books, that would have been impressive. That would have been super impressive. But 49, 100 to 250-page books, that's still a lot. I understand that. Most people don't read that much, but it's not as much as it sounds. At least that's what I tell myself, so that I can keep reading. Okay, I didn't want to close this book. I wanted to look at my notes. Okay, Flosstube notes. Okay, I got a lot to say. I got a lot to do. Let's lock on my chair. Okay, that way I won't be like, ooh, all the time. My slippers are coming off. Okay. I gotta have slippers on this cold basin floor, I'm telling you. Slippers are the deal. Okay, what should we do first? Starts, finishes. I've got finishes. I've got whips. I've got overviews of my year and crazy stuff that happened. Okay, not really crazy stuff. Nothing crazy in my life ever happens. Let's just talk about life. I recently was one of 3 people to help host a Quilt Social. It was lots of fun. If you are in like some sort of guild or club, especially a creative club, cross-stitch, yes, can do. Quilting for sure. Any sort of craft, any sort of even like a collecting club, okay? I suggest that you get this together and you do this because it's lots of fun, okay? And it's totally shameless. You show off your stuff, you brag about it, everybody goes ooh and ah, and it's feel good all around. And it's lots of fun, okay? You meet new people, you make connections, and you can learn new things, and it's really great. So what we did was our little guild or group, whatever, I don't know, for like a guild quilt group that we meet every Tuesday, 3rd Tuesday of the month. We invited 3 of our friends. Each person was invited 3 of our friends. Everybody across the board brings 3 things to show and tell. And it was really, really cool. Not everybody brought a quilt. Not everybody what did I want to say? Not everybody brought sewing. It was, you know, some people brought their jewelry, and there was quite a few cross stitches there. That was really cool. I brought a cross stitch, and I thought I would be the only one, but there was a couple others, like 4 other people brought cross stitch. That was really cool. So, you know, we have a demo and lunch, and we just go table by table. People introduce who their friends are, and they talk a little bit about each project, and everybody asks questions and claps, and they go home and they have a good time. I just had the craziest coughing fit. That was weird. Is my nose red? Anyway, the Quilt Social was lots of fun. Highly encourage you to do something like that. Yeah. Okay, so let's just do finishes because that's what we're here for, right? Whips and finishes. Okay, so non-cross stitch finishes. Yeah. Red and gray scarf. Let's talk about this. This is a scarf that I finished. I put tassels on it. Pretty cool. I've never done that before. It was really easy. This is a linen stitch. It's really cool. It's really nice and like a thick thing, good for scarves. So let's do a close-up. And that's the front, and then the back, the pearl side looks pretty cool too. Okay, so this is just, you alternate colors. I made it up myself, just randomly switching colors whenever I felt like it. So, nothing too special here. What's amazing is that I started this pretty long. I started this, I don't know, 5, 8 years ago? I don't even know. And I injured my wrist, like in here, and this, like, it's like a carpal tunnel sort of situation going on here. I gotta rest this all the time or it just hurts. But anyway, this was like a more of a wrist issue, and I couldn't crochet, I couldn't knit. It was like I didn't know what to do with myself, so I started doing other crafts and therefore cross stitch, all that stuff. I can do cross stitch for hours and hours and hours, no problems, no twinges, nothing. So anyway, years ago I put this in the closet with like 6 inches. 6 inches head done. I put it in the closet thinking that my wrist situation would heal up pretty quickly and I'd get it done. It did not heal quickly. It was just a long, drawn out healing. It's good now. We're fine. But, so I thought, I'll give knitting a go again, and I worked on this about a half hour every day, and it goes so quickly. It's about 6 feet long. So that's like a standard scarf length. What you want to do when you're making a scarf is to, if you're making it for a specific person, you should know how tall they are and make it that tall. This isn't going to a specific person, so I made it 6 feet because most people are either close to 6 feet or under. So this is good for a man too because it's kind of, I don't want to say man colors. There's no such thing as gendered colors. That really, it peeves me off. That's really pet peeves me. if that's a phrase. I don't like it when people think that colors belong to genders. That's ridiculous. But anyway, there are generalities into masculine and feminine tastes. And I believe that this sort of aesthetic is good for a generalized masculine taste. There we go. Tassels. Okay, I'm pretty happy, pretty pleased with that. Okay, in my previous videos, I've talked about my family's ugly fabric challenge where we I'm not used to talking this much. I don't talk to people. We have an ugly fabric challenge where we exchange names. We draw names out of a hat so everybody gets somebody else in the group, and we make something out of ugly fabric that somebody chose and exchange them. So we're supposed to make something beautiful out of something ugly, right? So we do this twice a year. So I have this spring's ugly fabric challenge finished. And I was racking my brain. I really didn't know what to do because it was like this, it was a fat quarter, 18 by 21 piece. And it was just like big, abstract swatches of color, just like marbled on there. So, I thought about the person that I was giving this to. I thought about, you know, what sort of thing could this make and be pretty? And I kind of took a cop out, I'll be honest. But anyway, I like it. I really, really, really like them. In fact, I had a scrap about this big. The rule is you're supposed to use 80% of your ugly fat quarter. And I think this is about 80% that I used. I had about this much left over in a strip going on, so I thought I would make me some. I made some coasters. I made 4 coasters and 2 hot pads. Okay, so the back is a batik, and it looks like this. It uses all the same colors in the ugly fabric. I really liked it. So okay. And I think it coordinates really, really well. So to make it a little something extra besides just hot pads and coasters, what I did was I quilted, I don't know if you'll be able to see it better on this side or not, I quilted like a freeform little flower. So that's special, I think, anyway. So, I really like this one. Very cool. I like them. I like them so much I was going to make myself some with the scraps. Okay. Ooh. I said in my last Flosstube that I would show you my trees, and they've been hanging up in the living room, and I very sneakily grabbed them. I don't know if they noticed or not, but okay, so here are my trees. How far do I have to back up so you can see them all? There we go. I'm just gonna hold this like this for a minute. Okay, so this is fabric, raw edge applique, no fusible. Okay, so there's a woodpecker there, and another woodpecker over here. I believe that this is a female woodpecker, and this is a male woodpecker, and in my mind, they are like sort of awkward teenagers, you know, like looking at each other across the school cafeteria, and like they both know the other one could be something special, but they're too into their cliques to really breach that gap. But he knows the words to her favorite song, and it's romance. I'm such a dork. Anyway, so it is on, it's huge. It's 16 by 42. It's on some stretcher bars, and I just, you know, pulled it and stretched it and stapled it. This is what the back looks like. I did not quilt the back on there, okay? It's never going to be washed. It's not a blanket. The batting is not going to fall apart in this sort of situation, so I didn't feel like I needed to connect the layers. But it is quilted through the batting on when I attached all of the fabric bits. So there's also lots of paint and ink on here. It is a true art quilt. There's multimedia art here. There's a fun story with this. My cousin and I were at the AQS show, American Quilt Society show, in Grand Rapids, Michigan. They travel around, so you could go find out if it's close to you. I really suggest you go. It's so much fun, so inspiring. And there was a booth there selling raw edge applique. Well, yeah, raw edge applique kits, and like you could buy the pattern and things to go with it, as well as a kit. And we went halvesies and bought the pattern for this. And we didn't buy any of the fabric that they had said belongs to it. So, like in cross-stitch terms, we didn't use the called for fabric. We just went through our own stash and just did whatever we want. The background is a batik. That's what gives that really foresty vibe to it. I can't get too close because it's so huge. Let's see here. Yeah, and I can't see what you're seeing, but I'm just gonna hold it here and maybe you'll be able to see some details. I have tried to photograph this so many times and I just can't. It's too big and it's wintertime. So that means the sun isn't ever shining. The sun's shining today. Today is the first time it's shining in forever and I'm downstairs in the basement. Yep. You didn't see that, did you? Just spilled it all down my shirt. It's just water. This video is so awkward. So awkward. We're over 20 minutes in and I haven't showed you any cross stitch yet. Okay, so ugly fabric, trees. As I was saying, I have one more non-cross stitch finish, and I did show you this when I had the top finished, but now I have the whole quilt finished. Super excited. And I can't hold up the whole thing. It's too big. It's a huge quilt. So there, you get a little taste. The binding is this nice green floral, and the back is succulents. Succulents, and because I couldn't choose, a purple batik, and because that wasn't enough, here we go, I used the rest of what I used for the binding. So it's 3 different colors on the back. It's okay, it all works because the front is so many different colors. I did the quilting myself. It's just a little swirly flower fill. I've never done a quilting pattern like this before where it's just a dense fill. I have always done like meander, and it's over here and it's over there, and it's, you know, they're close enough that the batting won't fall apart inside, but not this close and not like over the whole thing. So that was fun, and it's huge, so you know it took me a minute. So it's a huge thing. It's so big, but I'm so happy it's done. It took me 2 years because I couldn't figure out the back, and I knew I wanted something special for the back, but I didn't have anything special, so it took me a while to find something. That goes over there. Okay, so I think we're finally on to cross stitch finishes. Okay, so Michelle Bendy, you know her, you love her, right? She designed a cross stitch chart called Acceptance, and I bought it, and I started it, and I finished it. And maybe this needs an iron, but I'm not going to. So, acceptance. It says, acceptance doesn't mean resignation. It means understanding that something is what it is and there's got to be a way through it. So, I only had one of the DMC colors that she called for, and that was 169. If I remember, I will put my conversion in the description, because she does say in the pattern that she encourages people to go off and do their own thing, and I did, because I if you're like, ooh, look at that fabric, which sometimes I am when people hold up their stuff, this is 40 count mallow, which I bought a 9x13 piece of just to try out linen in 40 count, and it's okay. It's a lot like crunchier than what I was expecting, and I wasn't a fan of it until it was in the drawer for a long time because I didn't want to stitch on it because it just felt icky. But what I did was I knew that this would be just the right size. Like I only have this much margin, but that's enough. Okay, I knew it would be the right size for Michelle's pattern. So what I did was I picked out flosses that I liked, including the one that she called for, and one extra. And then I took this empty fabric before I had stitched on it down here, right here on my desk, and I used my fabric paint and I painted it. I actually painted it on this side. This is the bag. So this side is stronger in color than this side, and I just decided that I liked this one better, this side better. So maybe that'll be my screen grab. So, you know, it doesn't matter. What I used was, if you want to know my fabric painting situation, I used golden high flow acrylics with fabric medium. I like that because it's like a liquid, it's a liquid paint. It's like ink, but it's very highly pigmented and you only need a teeny tiny bit. I'll show you the bottles that they come in. Right, there's my head for scale. It's tiny. I've used it for so many different projects and it's not even half empty. You don't need very much at all. They are expensive, so only get them if you think that you're going to be painting with them a lot. And they're not meant for fabric, but you can buy fabric medium and use it with acrylics, and they're just an acrylic paint that has like I don't know what they do. I really don't know what they do, why they can make them so thin. It's genius though, but I like it because it does not change the feel of, like, okay, you know how you get paint on your jeans or whatever and you can feel the paint? It's like a hard piece of plastic on your jeans. These since they're so thin, they absorb into the fibers of the fabric, and with the fabric medium, it doesn't feel like plastic. So that's why I use those for fabric. For all of my art quilts that I paint on for my trees, that's what I used. Anyway, so I used those paints on this. It's upside down again. And then I also wanted to, like, I wanted some fancy floss. But I didn't want to buy fancy floss because the internet and monitors and dye lots and all the things, I didn't trust my monitor to be like, I want that color for this project. I knew I could spend a fortune in fancy flosses and never get what I want. So what I did was I just took out some lengths of the DMC colors that I chose, and I variegated them with the paint. I just swooshed them in the paint. Now, I don't recommend that because it made them knot up terribly and break. So don't do that. But, there we go. That's what I did. Isn't it pretty? Another thing that I changed from Michelle's design is that this ziggy-zaggy border was the same color as one of the greens in the flowers, and I made it 3799. I just thought that it needed more of a border. I know she was probably thinking of like vines and trellises and things like that, but I wanted just something a little bit more harsher, so that's why I did that. So that was a lot about paint for a cross stitch. Okay, I finished one other cross stitch. This is Mandala Giraffe by Awesome Pattern Studio on Etsy. 1/1 on 28 count. I believe this is wheat. Yep. I was thinking I might finish it into like a drawstring bag or a coin purse or something. Just haven't gotten around to it. So, what do you want to do now? New starts? I have a crazy new start. I have a new start that, it doesn't look like a new start anymore because I've done so much on it. Yep. Okay, my new start is called Handsome by ZAnnaCrossStitch on Etsy. Original art by Hrmph. I feel like I've said that in a video before. If this isn't a new start for a video, maybe that would explain why I have so much done on it instead of, you know. Anyway, that's what it's supposed to look like when it's finished. That's the mock-up. That's not the original art. And I'm doing it on 25 count potato lugana. It is 300 by 400 stitches, and there are 89 colors. Don't you love my labeling system? Also, I love these boxes. I have something to say. If you do full coverage with lots of colors and you put your DMCs in order of number rather than in order of type of symbol, you are just making your life harder. Now with Pattern Keeper, it's not as hard as with a paper pattern. So if you want to keep doing your thing, keep doing your thing. In fact, keep doing your thing no matter what. Just do you. But my advice is, put your DMCs in order of symbol type. Put all the stars together. Put all the letters together. Put all the arrows. All the weird looking things. All the swirls and the squares and circles. Put all those in groups. That's what I'm saying. Anyway. Where is the actual whip so I can show you? Here we go. Oh, by the way, I've stitched full coverage on a couple different luganas. I think one was cream, one was wedgewood, and one was mushroom. This one, potato, is the best. I don't know why. It might be just like it's the right color for me to see the stitches. It might be that it's got less dye, so it's not as tight. I don't know, but I'm buying potato from now on. It's also, for some reason, a few dollars less expensive. I don't know why. Don't know why. I just don't. But it's so much better. Okay, I've got so many strings hanging off this thing, so forgive me. Here we go. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, it's really, really great. So it's been a while. It's been a minute since I showed you what it's supposed to look like. See? So I'm like, wrong corner. I'm like right up in here. I've just done this blue here. Nice, huh? I like it so much. It's so soothing. The colors are like vibrant and pretty, but doing it is so soothing because it's a really nice chart. Now, it's a little bit, sometimes I look at this, I go both ways. Sometimes I look at this and I think, oh man, that's so pixelated. And then I look at like the artwork and it's perfect. So, whatever's. I'm doing it diagonally, as you can see. Up until this point, I was doing, you know, from this point to here, I was doing 10 stitch wide diagonals, and I was just feeling like I was missing, like I wasn't taking the opportunities that I could have, because I wanted like a nice line, because that's very satisfying to me, a nice line. So I decided to do 20 wide, and that goes so fast. I feel like, I don't know if it's true or not, but I feel like I am doing twice as many stitches in the same amount of time. Now that's just for this project. I don't know if it would work for any other project. So, it's going pretty well. I am really enjoying this one. I don't want to lose my needle. Okay, it's still there. I just, I gathered up all my stuff yesterday to do this, to do a floss tube, and I didn't get around to it, so I really missed working on this last night. Okay. Another new start would be Templar Prophecy by Long Dog Samplers. Here's the cover page. I have been wanting to do this for so long. pretty much as soon as it came out, I fell in love with it. I like Death by Cross Stitch, but it's got too many alphabets. One alphabet would be too many. I'm not a fan of the stitching the alphabet. I want to stitch neat things, not things that, not that the alphabet isn't neat. I love letters. I love writing and making letters and everything, but I don't know why cross-stitching the alphabet just sounds so boring. So I don't want to do it. So this one does not have any alphabets, and it's got knights and dragons. How can I not love it? So, I'm doing it on 28 count Whisper Lugana because that's what I had, and that's what it would fit. I would have to, it's one of those really awkward design sizes where it's just like 1 inch too big to buy the size fabric down. Like you could buy, you would have to buy like 10 more inches of fabric just for 1 more inch of design. It's ridiculous, and I wasn't gonna do that, so that's why I'm doing it on 28 count. Otherwise I'd probably do it on 32. Oh, it's not in here. It's in here. So the colors that I'm using is a little bit complicated. There we go. That's my start. That's the start of a dragon wing. Oh, I got it. There we go. Now it makes sense. That's the start of a dragon wing and head, and some of the knotwork in the corner. So to remind you what that looks like, where I am, right in here, right there. So it's another big project, but I love it. These little dashes, these dotted lines here, was just me using a friction pen to make sure that it is in fact big enough, because math is hard, and there's no substituting to actually use physically counting it out. So that's what that is. It will iron away, don't worry. So the colors that I'm using for this are as follows. DMC 154, a really cool purple. Threadworks Lava Rocks, which is a very subtle but beautiful variegation of a dark gray, dark green, and dark blue. It's kind of a blue. It's weird, but I love it. And Threadworks Marooned, which is dark gray, maroon, obviously, and like a brown and a green all mixed in there. It's very subtle and just ever so slightly what I was going for was like a castle wall rock metal like suit of armor sort of thing, and I think I'm getting it. Now the accent floss, I'll show you again because I only have a couple stitches of that in there. That's that orange, man, I cannot see what I'm doing. There we go, that orange in there. I wanted like a rust, okay, and I chose TMC 377. It's just juicy to me, but when I put it on here, it's orange. It's not juicy, it's like a bright orange, and I'm like, I should probably change that color. But I also kind of like it, so I don't know. I just don't know. I think I'm going to do the dragon's tongue that color, and if I hate it, then I'll change it. If I don't, then I'll keep it. I was also thinking like maybe I should buy more Threadworks because they're wonderful. Oh, this pattern also calls for some back stitching over top of your stitching. So if you're doing it in monochrome, like what it's meant to be, you either need a color that is your same color your fabric, or like a accent color, you know. So I chose DMC 415, pretty similar. It's a little different, and I wasn't going for exactly the same, but it's pretty close. And you know what? I chose that color blind, because I forgot my fabric at home when I went to Joann's to get it. Oops. Oh, we'll just leave it. Leave it till later. Okay. The next whip I have to show you is called Leopard, by charted by ZAnnaCrossStitch on Etsy. You're going to hear that a lot from me because I like those charts. They're easy and spectacular looking. We'll show you. It's 250 by 175, and there are 69 colors. And that is what it's supposed to look like. And this is what I've got done. I haven't done a whole heck of a lot since I last showed you. Last time I showed you, I believe I was like around here, so I did like a whole diagonal or two, I'm not sure, and then part of another one. So I think I might switch to a 20 wide diagonal on this one too, because I do feel like it might go a little faster. Not that speed is all that important, it's just like it feels good when you get lots of stitches done. Okay. What's next? Okay, I did work on my Wild Rose Blues from my bobbin, Anna Peshkova. Inna Peshkova, sorry, Anna. I might still be saying your name wrong. There we go. Last time I showed it to you, I did not have the top flower done, and I did not have this leaf, or so I didn't do a lot. I also did not have all of that back stitch, I believe. This is going to be so pretty when it's done. This is on 32 count Petal by Picture This Plus, and I think I'm going to finish this pretty soon. It's just so pretty. So pretty, I want it on my wall. I want it on my wall really badly, so I think I'm going to finish it pretty quickly. Okay, next is Mini Hrmph by Heaven and Earth Designs. Original art by Cheryl Baker. I did not bring down the cover photo for this, so I will insert it here. Okay. I got a lot done on this since the last time I showed you. Last time I showed you, I was just into this page here. I think I had like the angles. Nope. This way. I angled this way. I think I had like this much done. And I finished that little tiny page, and a good part of the next one. I'm not going by pages anymore, so it's a little hard to like, I don't have that yay page finish thing going on when you don't go by pages. So what I said to myself was I would do 8,000 stitches and then take a break from it. I did not get 8,000 stitches. I got about 5,000, maybe 6,000, and I'm like, I'm done with this. There's so much confetti. I do a lot of full coverage, so I'm not afraid of confetti, but it just gets so tedious. And considering it's cross stitch, that's saying something. This pattern is particularly bad. It looks amazing, so I don't mind doing it at the end, but while I'm doing it, I'm like, I wish I was doing something else, so I gotta take breaks. And anyway, my owl has an eye. And it's like a really angry eye. And he's supposed to be grumpy, But when he only has one eye, he looks so angry. Anyway, since I'm loving the 20 stitch wide diagonals so much on my iris, maybe I should try it on this one, see if it makes the confetti a little bit better, because like if it's just one stitch, and I can see on the other side of that line, that diagonal line, that there's one more stitch and I have to end the thread because there's nothing farther down in that diagonal, but it's just way right there. And I was thinking about maybe trying cross country on this one, but I really don't like that idea. There's nothing wrong with cross country. If you're a cross country stitcher, go for it. But like for me, it's a little bit too chaotic. I like the line by line, sweet diagonal. I like that part. Cross country, so I hesitated on that, but maybe I should try the 20 stitch diagonal. That might be a bit better. I would really love to finish this year, like by December. I think that would be a good goal, to finish it by December. Okay, I think that's all of my whips. So I'm going to talk about my plans for new starts. Okay, so I brought up my tablet to show you the pictures, because I printed out some and then my printer went wonky and they're all green, so that's not fun. Okay, so my plan, my next new start is I bought some during the Haid sale. I bought 5 new Haids. And I'm going to start one, but it's a story keep, so it's tiny and I could finish it. And I want to do it by Mother's Day. So don't tell Mom. Hang on. Okay, that's good enough. It is Fire in the Soul story keep, artwork by Jody Bergsma. I've been admiring her work a lot, and I bought 3 of hers. So that's what the story keep is going to look like. The original piece is, it's got this head in the forefront, and then horses. And I almost bought that, but then I'm like, no, I could do a little one for Mother's Day, so that's what I did. And then because I am a glutton, I got, well actually what happened, I knew I'd buy at least one more, and I was pretty sure it was going to be The Power of Purpose by Jody Bergsma. And I did actually buy that one. But I showed this one and the other one that I was considering to my mom. And I did not tell her how I was going to stitch her one. The other one was mini Kindred Spirits. And I want the mini version. So she actually liked this one better than The Power of Purpose, and I was like, but it's got more colors and it's a mini, so it's gonna have more confetti. And I was just getting off of mini Hrmph over there, and I was like, no Mom, please. So I settled on the story keep. It also has lots of colors and it's very small, so there's gonna be confetti, but it's gonna be over quickly. And I bought The Power of Purpose for me and Mini Kindred Spirits for sometime in the future. Maybe for Mom. Depends on if she'll make me grilled cheese. I don't know. So if you're curious about the other Haids that I bought, I will show you. This is Unafraid of Thorns, artwork by Stephanie Pumin-Law. I probably said that wrong. It sounds Korean, and I've heard enough Korean in my life that I should be able to say it right, but I've never practiced really, so isn't that so pretty? Oh my gosh. I just die. I just die every time I look at it. Okay, and then I did Yexian, probably also saying that wrong, Pure of Heart. It seems like it might be Korean, but I might be wrong about that. I love this one. There is a story here, and I love it. It seems very Asian fairy tale-ness to me. Like maybe that's her lover, and he was turned into a fish. And she comes to visit him on full moons because that's when they talk to each other. You know what I mean? It seems like there's a story there. So, let's see here. What else did I get? I said I bought 5, didn't I? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I showed you them. Showed you them all. Okay, the next one that I'm going to start pretty soon is not a Hade, but it is again from ZAnnaCrossStitch. And it's just called Mums. Original artwork by Alfred Galura. I'll zoom out a little bit so you can read that name. Isn't that amazing? So first of all, I want to stitch that for me, but I might be giving it away to somebody special. I don't know. I have all the DMC for that one. I have most of the DMC for Fire in the Soul, and I'm not even considering any of the other ones for the near future. Maybe one day when I'm like, I need a new start right now, I'll do one, but it'll actually probably be something small. So, we did starts, we did finishes, we did whips. I talked about my book log. Talked about my plans. Talked about the Quilt Social. Alright, I did do a few paintings. Again, I never know what I've done and what I haven't done. I do know these ones are recent, so I'll show you them. Maybe there's a... Hang on. This is cool. If you ever just like want to play with your... This is cool. Make one of these. That one's recent. I really have no idea about any of these other ones. These ones were just sitting here, so I'll show you them. And if you've seen them before, sorry. So this one I just did a couple days ago, and it's just practice. In my last video, I held up one of these, and I'm like, I do these roses all the time, and here's more roses. Because I can't help myself, but these ones are a different color. I was just like cleaning up my palette, basically. And I never would have made roses that color. Okay, and then this was when I was obsessed with fall. So probably last November is probably when I did that. I don't know if you've seen this one. This is like any Michigan. Any place in Michigan. In Michigan, you are never more than like 3 miles away from a swamp or a lake. Sometimes both of us. Doesn't it look like Michigan? Oh my gosh. If I ever move away and I'm homesick, I'm going to be painting like 5,000 of these. And then, because the sun never shines, I did this. Isn't that fun? It's actually supposed to go like this. Or maybe like, it's supposed to go like this. There we go. Okay, so those were just my quick paintings that were just sitting here. This one is actually a commission, and the time lapse is already up, so you can watch it if you want. This is a orange cat. It's got to go to its owner pretty soon here. It's already in the sleeve, so I'll take it out if there's glare. There we go. Watercolor and ink. There's some white ink in there because whiskers are a thing and they're hard to do in watercolor. You can do whiskers without doing white ink. It's just that it's really hard, and I do it the easy way. Nothing wrong with the easy way. How do I get this back in here? Go. Okay. And then this one I haven't even matted yet. Ta-da! A doggy! Oh, she's, you know, I ask for lots of pictures from my clients so I can get like an idea of the personality of the dog, because that is more important than almost anything else when you're doing a portrait. And this one, I wanted that dog. She's so cute. Okay. Oh, something interesting, if you want to know like the difference, you want to know my process, my painting process when you commission a portrait from me, what I do, and I'm going to be doing like a whole, I just flashed that, I was going to do a whole like sketchbook flip through when I finish this, so I'm not going to show you a ton of things, but I'll just show you for this one portrait. Yeah, okay, it starts over here. The cat was so much easier, oh my gosh. I don't know why the dog was so hard. I usually paint dogs pretty easy and cats are the ones that are hard, but for some reason the cat was easy and the dog was hard. Okay, so what I do is I take my sketchbook. Okay, this is a working sketchbook. It's not one of those pretty ones where it's like, oh, beautiful artwork on this page. Another beautiful artwork on this page. Nothing is wrong. Nothing scribbled out. Nothing is ugly. This is a working sketchbook. Everything is ugly. Okay, so what I do is I do a sketch of the dog or cat, whatever, and I try and figure out colors. Okay, so I swatch them out here, what I think will work, and I try to paint it. Okay, now this one I did first, and obviously is wrong. So then I tried to do this one, and it came out pretty good, but not quite right. Okay, so then I did this one, and I did not finish it because I knew I was on the right track. Okay, so again, swatch out the colors, I did a few mixing things, and a sketch, a thumbnail, basically. It's a big thumbnail, but that's what it is. I didn't finish it because I knew I was on the right track, but not quite. And by the way, for all of these, so far, I'm using different colors. And then this one is the one that I settled on. Obviously, it looks a lot like the original, color-wise. So, color swatch, and I actually really like this sketch. This turned out really, really well. I finished it. And then what I'll do if you commission me to do a pet portrait, I will take a photo of this or scan it or something and send it to you for approval first, and then you tell me if something's wrong, if the colors aren't right, if you don't like the expression. This one, she said she thought the snout was too long, and honestly, she's right. Now proportionally, it's in the right spot. It's the right shape, right spot, but the shading on the sides was wrong, and it made it look so much longer. So I'm glad that she said that, otherwise I would never have noticed. I stare at this so long painting it that I just don't notice that sort of thing. So in the final, I kept that in mind and I fixed it, and she likes the final one. So you can see the snout actually does look shorter because I did it right. So I'm pretty happy with how it came out. It's a little bit teeny tiny overworked, but that's me being too critical of my own work. It's just fine. The client is happy, and that's what matters. So I'm going to, I would package that up, and I send it to the recipient, and everybody's happy. Okay, so we're coming up on my third set of 20 minutes, and my camera makes a new file every 20, so I'm going to call it. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and as always, thanks for watching.